Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout coming to you from Milan, Michigan. We'll see some great 200-mile-an-hour plus drag racing action here on Prime. Hello, everyone. My name is Aaron Green, and I'm with Norman Estes, the Sunoco Racing Fuel Shootout points leader. And Norman, you've had a great season thus far.
We've had a good year so far. We have had a couple breaks. Crews did a good job. Cars worked well. And we've been real pleased with the success we've had so far. But it's going to be a nail-biter. The points race, although we're leading, we're only like 2 or 3 rounds ahead of the second, third-place car. So if we're going to stay number one, we're going to have to continue to win rounds.
Well, you qualified number 3 for today's race with a 676 at 201, and there's a lot of tough contenders to deal with.
It's going to take low 670s to win this race today. We had a little problem last night. We felt like we were going to be able to run a little quicker than that yesterday, but we had a tire problem. We've got that fixed, and we feel like we can run the numbers it's going to take to win. But whoever wins the race is tough. As close as these cars are, it takes a break along the way, and we hope that we'll get that break.
Norman Estes will be one of the drivers to watch today in the Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout.
In the final of the last race on tour at Maple Grove Raceway in Pennsylvania, Estes rocketed to a 6:73.2 202-mile-per-hour pass in the final round to defeat Grahner's 6:79 elapsed time in the Persico Brothers Camaro. Norm Estes, the big winner at Maple Grove. Well, our Pro Mod Ram Clutches point standing so far is number 1, Norm Estes with 3,322 points, followed by Mark Carter, Chris Hunt, Tom Mooney, and Gary Grahner. Today's program brought to you by Scimitar Motorsports Video. Sunoco Race Fuels, when split seconds count. And by Pro Motorsports, the new name and officially licensed pro drag apparel. We'll be right back with round number 1 of eliminations here at Milan International Dragway. We're back at Milan International Dragway, back in the pit area. Aaron Green spoke with Steve Johnson, driver of the Simpson Motorsports ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette.
Steve, your 6:76 elapsed time put you in number 2, just ahead of Norman Estes.
Yeah, Norman's been running real good at all these pro motorsport events. It's been real tough. We've had a lot of troubles. We had some transmission trouble. I think we might have the car squared away and be able to run with these guys again.
You're a busy guy today, racing 2 cars.
Yeah, Rick Dyer and the Cars bunch. We're having a good time at the Huntsville event, it looked like, with their street cars. Dave Simpson, the owner of these cars, owns the Chevelle over here. We told him we wanted to bring it out and have a little bit of fun. He stood behind me, and we got it out here. We're qualified number 2 with it, and we're going to give the Cars guys some fits and run with those guys, too.
Back in the pit area, Gary Grahner and the Persico brothers prepare their 67 Camaro for round 1 of eliminations. One of the consistent top qualifiers on the tour this year, Grahner struggled a bit in qualifying here at Milan, running a 6:94, good for the number 9 spot. Well, here in the Milan, Michigan pits, teams were getting ready to prepare for war. The war zone was laid out, and now it's time to bring out the ammo. Louis Burris was ready to go with his racing car, and check it out. Even teams with big problems underneath their machines kept thrashing to get them into the first round of eliminations here in Milan. Jeff Ensslin knew where he was going, right to the battlefield. Here are your pairings at round number 1 of eliminations in the Sunoco Racing Fuel Shootout. We'll see Chris Hunt up against Junior Robbins, Louis Burris up against Gary Grahner, Mark Carter versus Chuck Van Bellis, Ed Hoover goes against Gary Shearer, Steve Johnson versus Pete Berner, Jeff Ensslin against Tom Nixon, Norm Estes runs against John Jenick, and Billy Harper runs Norm Wizner. Our first pair is doing their burnouts, getting ready to run in round number 1 of eliminations here at Milan International Dragway. The sleek wind tunnel design Corvette of Louis Burris is up against the strong-running nostalgia-style car of the Persico brothers, the 1967 Chevrolet, being driven by Gary Grahner. Burris on the near lane, being backed up in his burnout tracks by his crew out of the state of Virginia. Gary Grahner is always a fan favorite at the wheel of the New York-based Persico brothers Camaro. Will Gary Grahner into the lights and Louis Burris in the Chevrolet Corvette. Camaro versus Corvette in this round 1 of Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout. Look at the whole shot advantage going to Gary Grahner in the Persico brothers Camaro. Down to the top end, the charge, and Grahner takes the first round win with a 692 to a quicker 690 of Burris.
Louis Burris ran a 6:90 elapsed time, and Gary, you ran a 6:92, but you won the race with a hole shot.
Yeah, I never saw him, so it felt good.
Got to feel good to win one on the starting line.
Oh, always makes me look good.
Our next race features a pair of drivers from the Sunshine State. Tom Nixon will be in the near lane with his beautiful lifestyle racing Pontiac Grand Prix from Parkland, Florida. His opposition, Jeff Ensslin, a 22-year-old driver from Lakeland, Florida. The Ensslin team ready to go in their beautiful Lumina Z34, prepared by their father, Larry Ensslin. Well, as they get ready to move into the hot rubber, they lay down on the starting pad here in Milan. They're into the beams. Nixon's in. Enslin's in. The lights come down, and Nixon with a tremendous hole shot advantage off the tree. But look at the kid pouring on from Florida. 22 years old and a victory by a car length. The Z34 runs through the traps at 688, 202 miles per hour. And you see it in slow motion. He bumpered him down on the top end.
Jeff, you were the winner of a close race there with a 688.
I was really lucky that I even survived that after what we tore up last night.
Nixon had a slight hole shot at the start.
Well, you know how it is. Drag racing is drag racing. I tried to go out there and do my best, and Tom prevailed at the starting line.
And our next pair to the starting line, Norm Wizner from Georgia will go against the red line racing Mopar Billy Harper. Wizner with his 1957 Ford qualified number 11 in the field today with a 709 185 mile per hour blast. Well, the burnouts are completed as Wizner gets his Ford in reverse and gets ready to go down the track here in Milan, Michigan. Meanwhile, one of the few Chrysler products in the field, Billy Harper with his number 6 qualified Plymouth Barracuda, ran a 679 at 205 during qualifying rounds. Well, Wizner backing up in the hot rubber, he lays down on the burnout. But remember, most of the drivers with lane choice seem to favor the far lane here in round 1, which is the lane chosen by Billy Harper in the radical Plymouth Barracuda. Harper's in, Wizner's in, the lights are down, and the whole shot going to Harper in the quicker car. Look at Wizner get out of the groove. He has to backpedal as Harper takes the Plymouth to victory. Harper goes down with a 693 to advance him to round number 2.
Billy, Norm Wizner had problems right off the line.
Okay, I didn't know where he went. I didn't see him at all. Track was a little greasy, but our crew did a good job, and it went on down the track.
Your 693 was good for the win.
Okay, I had no idea what I turned there, so, but it felt good, and I think the track will get better on this track.
Well, back on the starting line, it's ready to go. It's Eddie Hoover, ready out of Gilbert, South Carolina, at the wheel of the Sunoco Race Fuel Chevrolet Camaro, going against the Iowa-based driver, Gary Shearer, a newcomer to Pro Modified ranks with his Chevrolet Beretta. Ed Hoover, a veteran campaigner in the Pro Modified category, is always tough to beat at the wheel of the Sunoco Chevrolet. Shearer is a former IHRA top dragster campaigner, now running a Beretta and Pro Modified. It's no contest here, though. Look at Hoover tree him off the line as Hoover runs away with a victory here in the Sunoco Chevrolet Camaro. The chute is out, 689, 199. Hoover, your winner in this round of action.
Well, Ed, you're working hard today. A 689 was good for the win here in round 1.
Yeah, I tell you, Sunoco sent a fuel guy down to help me out with my tune-up and it's turned the car around a lot. Thanks to Jim Miles and all the help he's done, car's really running well. We're kind of back on track. The air is responsible for kind of the 689 ET, but it'll come around.
What kind of numbers do you think it will take to win this race?
On this track, I think conservative 680s will do it.
Our next pair in round 1 of the Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout eliminations will have Chuck Van Bellis of New Baltimore, Michigan on the near lane up against Okarche, Oklahoma-based Chevrolet dealer Mark Carter at the wheel of his sleek 94 Chevrolet Camaro running out of Carter Chevrolet. Carter on the far lane, qualified 4th in the program with his car prepared by crew chief Gene Deutsch and motorman Hank Williams. Chuck Van Bellis is racing in front of his home state fans in the classic Dodge. Well, Carter backing back up into the hot rubber as he gets ready to go. The Okarche, Oklahoma-based Chevrolet Camaro. Carter's door is slammed, better known as the Flying Fat Man, as Carter gets ready to go. The Dodge versus Chevrolet. Look at Carter walking away on the starting pad. Down on the top end, Van Bellis shakes the Dodge almost violently after they're let off. Watch in slow motion. The Dodge gets some violent wheel shake. Having to backpedal, the Flying Fat Man goes on to victory.
Mark, your strong runs continue. A 684 gives you lane choice over Hoover in round 2.
Fantastic. We'll need it. I think that left lane's just a little bit greasier than the right.
Mighty hot here today.
Absolutely, and that plays a little bit into our hand because our car seems to run real good in the heat.
Well, back on the starting line, our next first-round encounter is ready to fire up the burnouts as John Jenick brings his Pontiac Firebird to the starting line to face the consistent Norm Estes and his ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Norm Estes and his crew, Chief Shannon Jenkins, have their ZR1 running strong this afternoon. Always a consistent qualifier at the pro motorsports events around the country. Estes qualified here third today at Milan, Michigan. John Jenick and his Pontiac, a newcomer to the pro modified racing category, is ready to go in this shootout tour here in Milan this afternoon. He may be in a deep load of trouble right here because the favorite in the VAR lane, Estes, gets ready to get in. Jenick's got his Pontiac all the way staged. Estes gets into the hole shot, goes to Estes. Estes makes a jump for the gun. Down on the top end, picking up valuable points. Estes, 680, shuts off with a victory at over 200 miles per hour.
You just picked up more valuable points, Norman, and ran a 680.
Well, the 680 is pretty good, but I got bad news for the crew. I think we nipped one right there at the lights. I think it hurt itself, so we got to get back in a hurry and try to fix it and come back and win another round.
The speed was only 197. Did you shut it off earlier, or did it shut itself off?
It nosedove and quit pulling. It's hurt.
Well, our next race coming to the line features a pair of cars from the Illinois state. Steve Johnson with the Simpson Motorsports ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette from Carpentersville, Illinois, going up against Stager, Illinois-based Pete Berner in his beautiful Lumina Z34 on the near lane. Steve Johnson, a very busy driver on the far side of the racetrack, and the Simpson Motorsports ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette is racing today in both the Pro Modified and Pro Street categories. Well, the burnouts are completed. Steve Johnson in the Simpson Motorsports ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette. Berner ready to go in his Z34 Lumina. Berner leaves the line. Johnson leaves for second. Berner gets out of the groove. He goes a ride towards the guardrail. Johnson with a strong run to the top end. 682, 206 miles per hour. As you look in slow motion, Pete Berner lifts hard to the right side, has to shut the Lumina off.
Top speed of the round so far, Steve, 206 miles an hour along with a 682.
Not a bad pass. That's about what we expected, was a low 80. We're going to run back, get the street car ready, get the pro mod ready, and come up in the next round. Try to run a high 70, 206, 207 again.
Estes was the only driver quicker so far here in round one with a 680, and he said he hurt his motor.
Crew didn't say anything about hurting ours, so we've had it pretty safe, and we're looking for a good one.
Well, up to the line next, the #1 qualifier for this event. Chris Hunt at the wheel of his Chevrolet Lumina Z34 from Gilbert, Alabama. Hunt ran a great 674, 211 mile per hour pass in qualifying. Let's see what he has in store for us here. Looks like Hunt's going to be on a bye run here because Robbins crashed in qualifying. Well, Hunt's off on a real great run. The car not lifting hard down to the 8th mile. Look at the charge here on the Milan drag strip. Hunt goes down and shuts it off with a beautiful 680 at 206 miles per hour.
Another great run, Chris, 680 at 206.
We'll take that. It's a little off. Track was not quite what we were expecting, but it was pretty good. We'll sure take it, though.
The only other car that ran that quick in round one was Estes, and he said he was having engine problems.
Yeah, me and him both been battling about the same problem this weekend. We've been battling each other for the last couple of races.
Now let's go down to Lenny Baticki with the CompuCar Nitrous Tech Tip.
Well, the bottle, specifically the nitrous oxide bottle, is the main purpose of Pro Mod Racing, or at least it was the start of it. Now, of course, they're using a lot of blowers and such, but the nitrous oxide is still the bottom line what a lot of the racers use. And I'm fortunate enough to speak to one of the experts from CompuCar, the top nitrous oxide system, here racing with us today in the Sunoco Pro Mod Shootout. Todd Orander. Todd, tell us a little bit, without maybe getting too technical, about nitrous oxide, how it helps a race car, and how CompuCar nitrous oxide systems really perform on the racetrack.
Okay. Number one, with nitrous, what you're doing is you're injecting oxygen along with fuel into the motor so you can create more horsepower. The horsepower does not come from the nitrous. What it comes is from the oxygen that is held into the nitrogen molecules in the nitrous. And when you inject both nitrous and more fuel into the motor, you can create more horsepower. The horsepower actually coming from the fuel, not from the nitrous oxide. It's just the ability to burn more fuel by putting oxygen into the cylinder.
We hear a lot of folks talk about single stage, dual stage, and sometimes they even try to get into a shadowy 3-stage area with nitrous oxide. Tell us just a little bit about how that kicks in.
Well, right here in front of me, we have one of our 3-stage nitrous systems. It's called our Pro Max system. It's actually capable of creating up to 3,000 horsepower. You have one stage here, it's a direct port system. Then we have 2 stages of spray bars, one here and one here. And like I said, each system independently can be turned on. You can turn on one stage off the line and then turn on the second stage. If you need that little extra, you can turn on the third stage, go for kill, you know, get that guy on the other end. But yeah, it's up to 3 stages, 3,000 horsepower. It can be jetted anywhere from 200 horsepower or even lower, right up to whatever you want, whatever you feel you need.
CompuCar, of course, known for its famous mascot, the Purge Bird, and we'll see a lot of cars purging. How does that help the nitrous system?
Purging, what you're doing is you're getting all the gas nitrous out of the line. So you have liquid nitrous up at the solenoid when you're ready to make your pass. Your horsepower comes from the liquid part of the nitrous, not the gaseous part of the nitrous. So you clean that line out, because most of them run anywhere from 8 to 12, some of them 16-foot lines. You get all the gas out of the line, so you got air, and you get the liquid nitrous up there. So when you hit the button, you don't have that, you don't stumble off the line. You have an instant hit, and you can carry it all the way out.
Thanks a lot for talking to us, Todd. Todd from CompuCar, tell us how the Purge Bird and his nitrous oxide system, the CompuCar system, works to get them there first.
Well, during Saturday's qualifying runs, Junior Robbins came up at Milan, Michigan's starting line in his 66 big block nitrous-powered Chevelle. Little did Robbins know the problems he would occur leaving the starting line here at Milan. As Robbins leaves the line, the back axles walk out from underneath, and Robbins collects the guardrail. The chute ripping out of the back of the car, apparently bringing him to maybe a slower stop as he drags down the guardrail. And the only thing that would go the 1,320 feet for Robbins this Saturday afternoon was his rear tires. Junior Robbins and the whole crew really upset that they didn't make the field here. The car was running to par, but watch in slow motion, race fans, you can see the right rear ripping right out from underneath the car. The axle looked to be moving or snapping out of the back end, and Robbins, his car goes airborne into the guardrail, smashing that beautiful 66 Pro modified Chevrolet to pieces on the right side. One more shot in slow motion here. Watch the impact and the poles leave the guardrail section. Thank God no photographer standing in front as Robbins just barrels his way in, and the crew gets Robbins out and a big smile on his face. That's what we like to see, the safety these cars are built with. And now for the Sunoco Race Fuel Pro Street highlights. Well, even the Pro Street Warriors made it here to Milan, Michigan for the Sunoco Pro Street Shootout. And check it out, Mark Carrier, pulling up in his beautiful Cars Inc. Chevrolet Camaro. Hoosier boots on the back end in the burnout box, getting it nice and hot and ready to compete against some of the fastest Pro Street cars in the Midwest. Speaking of fast, check this out, the one-time Kevin Lawrence Chevrolet Camaro, now owned by Bill Sharpness. Sharpness still running on horsepower, no nitrous oxide, and you want to talk about a car that flies, sometimes finds a high 8-second zone. Keep your eyes on Sharpness's beautiful 69 Z28. Carrier rolling back into the hot rubber he laid down, and now Sharpness backing up into those big wide pads of hot sticky rubber. Now it's time to battle as Carrier revs the motor one more time and prepares to move to the starting line. The crew's getting into the groove one last time. Watch the tree. Sharpness knows right where he wants to be on the line start, so he moves right into the top bulb, and now it's time to go racing. Hang on, race fans, Pro Street, and it is fine here at Milan this weekend. Carrier's into the top light as we move in the nitrous oxide Chevrolet Camaro of Carrier, the non-nitrous oxide Chevrolet Camaro of Bill Sharpness. Sharpness revs the motor one more time, fully staged, and the lights are down, the wheels in the air for Carrier as Sharpness just chases him. Look at Carrier running away with it. A tollway length, and it looks like Carrier may get him now, and Sharpness walks on the top end. Watch in slow motion as both cars leave, Carrier collecting the whole shot, and Sharpness now doing everything he can to catch that Chevrolet Camaro. Watch the top end charge by the non-nitrous Camaro, just at the finish line, edging him out by a fender length. Well, next up in the burnout box, it's a Michigan native. It's going to be Bruce Kimmon in the Cars Inc. Chevrolet Camaro taking on one of the Indianapolis favorites. That's right, it's going to be Speedy Pete Walsh in his beautiful 1970 Chevrolet Nova. Walsh ready to, better known for Walsh on the back bumper half the time. Keep your eyes on that Nova. If he gets it up like he does at some of the pro street events around the country, I guarantee you'll see the oil pan. But right now, backing up into the hot rubber, it's going to be the only man that looks like Grizzly Adams. It's going to be Bruce Kimmons, the guy who loves this kind of sport of racing. Hang on, as we've seen in-car cameras, live shots of Kimmons blowing his motor. Right now, let's see if we can get to the next round of Pro Street here in Milan. As Kimmon rolls into the beams, the tire's nice and hot, revving the motor, purging the nitrous oxide. Both cars nitrous oxide equipped. As Walsh rolls into the bottom bulb on the lights are down and the wheels, and Aaron Kimmons collects problems off the starting line. Possibly a transmission as Walsh just runs away with the victory. Down to the top end, the Chevrolet Nova easily taking a victory going to the next round. Well, as we go back, the crews run out to Bruce Kimmons' Car Inc. 69 Chevrolet Camaro. Man, watch it in slow motion as we show you once again the real problems Bruce occurred with. Leaving the line, the nitrous oxide backfires, spitting fireballs out the windshield of Bruce Kimmons. Hopefully he didn't singe his beard as Petey Walsh just rips away with a victory here in the Pro Street category. Well, it looks like Kimmons will get out of the car and make sure he is okay. He hops out, goes to check out his machine. There is one heck of a racer.
Yeah, I'm going to. Thanks.
Well, hopefully Bruce Kimmons' car isn't injured too bad as they have to pull it off the track. Well, I know Bruce. He'll be back for another day of drag racing, whether it be here at Milan or some track around the Midwest. Well, our next two to the line is one of the most, well, the car on the left there, one of the most amazing steel-bodied Chevelles I've ever witnessed go down a quarter mile. It's a Simpson Motorsports-sponsored Chevy Chevelle driven by Steve Johnson. Another nitrous oxide-assisted machine with a big cubic inch Chevrolet power plant underneath the hood. 69 Chevrolet Camaro coming up in the far lane here. Well, I'll tell you at this point, he looks like a shrimp cocktail because he'll be an appetizer unless he can run in the low 8-second, high 7-second zone through the mufflers. As Johnson does his burnout and backs up, the Camaro's tires nice and hot. Steve Johnson now purging the nitrous oxide. Boy, does this car sound sweet through the mufflers. Possibly a pair of Flowmaster mufflers underneath that big body Chevelle. The lights are down and the wheels in the air for both machines. But look at the charge by Johnson. A whole half a track length. The 69 Camaro not even in the picture at this point as Johnson runs away with the victory. Well, right when you were bragging about Johnson's racing car, check it out. Coming into the water box now, the 1955 Chevrolet of Rick Dyer. The Cars Inc. sponsored 55 Chevy, burning the tires with another legendary burnout. That Lenko getting warmed up and ready to run possibly in the high 7-second zone. Dyer backing him up into the hot rubber he laid down across the starting pad. Believe me, when this car hooks, it books, and it may put records in the book. But right now, he's got to take on another Michigan man, the 1984 red Camaro of George Beluga. Beluga, well, you know, they like to swim in the sea. Looks to his right and sees that big boated 55 Chevrolet getting ready to spear him down. As Beluga rolls into the beams and hangs on for a legendary race that he'll never forget. Win or lose, I'll tell you, I'd love to be matched up against Rick Dyer and say, hey, I raced him. Well, at this point, Beluga rolls into the staging beams, gets the car fully staged. The lights are down, and look at Dyer collecting the hole shot. Beluga with him as the car moves out of the groove. It looks like Dyer with an easy victory down to the top end. Another 790 run. Watch it in slow motion. Dyer banging out, hitting the secondary nitrous oxide stage, possibly third gear in the Lenko. The car moving all over the track, but stays with it and takes home the victory here in Milan, Michigan. And here's Aaron Green.
Along with the Pro Modifieds at a Sunoco Racing Fuel Shootout weekend, hundreds of cars race in the ET bracket categories. This beautifully prepared T-Bucket Roadster is powered by a 509 cubic inch big block Chevrolet and driven by Gary Acker of Taylor, Michigan. I'm with Bill Gaffney, the Executive Vice President of Pro Motorsports. And Bill, tell us about the new Pro Drag Racers apparel line.
Aaron, Pro Motorsports is proud to be introducing the officially licensed Pro Drag Racers apparel line. We're going to be rolling out the new product line with the World Champion Series with John Hurricane Force, Eddie and Ursi Hill, and Warren Johnson.
Sounds like something that all drag racing fans would be interested in.
We're really excited about it, Aaron. It's something that all the drag racing fans have wanted for years and years, and we're now available to roll it out.
Bill, these shirts look like they're top quality.
They certainly are. We're working with Classic Graphics out of Downey, California, which develops a lot of shirts for a lot of the top race teams and drag race teams around the country. And we're real pleased with the association that we have with Classic Graphics.
Now we get to round 2 of eliminations in the Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout. The drivers in the top 10 in the point standings currently will face off here as Ed Hoover will be in the near lane with the Sunoco Race Fuels Camaro. Coming out of Gilbert, South Carolina, going up against Okarche, Oklahoma's finest. No other than the flying fat man, Mark Carter, in the far side of the racetrack with the Carter Chevrolet Camaro. A pair of 1994 Chevrolet Camaro bodies ready to battle on the starting line here in round 2 of the Pro Motorsports event. This could be a very important battle in the point standings as Carter on the far lane came into this event number 2 in points behind Norm Estes. Ed Hoover on the near side is currently number 8 in the point standings as of the beginning of this race. Well, both drivers very evenly matched here as Hoover gets ready to go in the Sunoco Race Fuel Chevrolet Camaro. The Flying Fat Man out of Okarche, Oklahoma, ready to go in the Carter-sponsored Chevrolet. Carter revs up the motor, clears it out, and now the nitrous oxide ready to go to work here as Carter rolls into the beams. Check it out, Pro Mod fans. Rolling in one at a time. And Carter rolls into the beams first. Now we'll get a frontal shot of this assault as we get ready to go. Well, looks like Hoover the last man to get into the beams here as Carter is fully staged and engaged. The lights are down. Hoover with a terrific whole shot advantage, walking away at this point from Carter. Carter trying to catch up at the 8th mile mark. Not gonna do it. Hoover with the win, 685, 200 miles per hour. Well, as you watch both cars in slow motion here, you can tell how competitive they are. Ed Hoover just got a bit of a whole shot advantage off the starting pad, but Mark Carter poured it on down to the 8th mile mark, trying to give it everything he took, but that little bit of a nap on the starting line cost Carter plenty in points here at the Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout.
Ed Hoover, you're a master at coming up with a good run when you need one. A 685 defeats Carter.
I tell you, Kevin Knoll from Sunoco Race Fuels helped me out a lot. Got this thing tuned up and it's running a lot better. I'd like to thank him a lot.
Do you think the track is coming around?
Not really. Still a little greasy out there. It moved around a little bit.
What'd you do, Mark?
Back on the starting line, our next pair is ready to go. No other than Steve Johnson in the Simpson Motorsports ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette. Getting the tires nice and hot off the starting pad, his competition from Lakeland, Florida, Jeff Ensslin, the kid who is ready to load the gun and go hunting for bear. Watch out, this 22-year-old definitely knows how to pull the trigger off the starting pad. Well, Johnson backs up into the hot rubber, and it looks like the Simpson ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette being backed up by the crew. 2 parachutes packed, the number 2 qualifier here this afternoon with a 676 205 mile per hour pass. Ensslin qualifying number 7 at 686 202 miles per hour. Both cars getting ready to go. Ensslin rolls to the top bulb. And it looks like Steve Johnson, the ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette, who gets the whole shot advantage down on the top end. Ensslin running away with it as Johnson has problems. Ensslin 693, 201 miles per hour. And Steve Johnson with a handful of problems off the pad. Well, as we watch in slow motion here, watch the kid from Lakeland, Florida, Ensslin. Whole shots his competitor, and it looks like Simpson's car goes towards the rail, getting out of the groove, moving hard to the right. Looks like Steve Johnson has to backpedal that Chevrolet Corvette. We'll get one more shot from the front here. Watch the Corvette roll out of the hot groove that he laid down on the burnout and move hard to the right. Steve Johnson doing a terrific job backpedaling that machine and going on to gather some very important points is Jeff Ensslin out of Lakeland, Florida.
Steve, I guess that race against Ensslin would have to be called an upset as you were the quicker car in round 1.
Yeah, I thought we had a pretty safe setup on it. Maybe just put a little more power in it. And I pulled second gear and to come off the transition. And the car was shaking a little bit, and I thought it was going to settle down, and it just started spinning the tires and took off for the wall, and I just had to lift.
Well, Steve Johnson, the quickest in that run, but not the quickest to the finish line. Looks like he's going to have to pack up the Corvette and go into pro street racing for the rest of the day.
Jeff, you got down the tricky left lane with a 693.
It was a little slick, trust me, it was a little slick. We got a little out of shape, but I didn't see him beside me, so I tried to hang in there as much as possible.
Talk about out of shape. Steve Johnson was really out of shape.
Well, I couldn't see him, so I just held on in there.
Our next matchup promises to be a great race as #1 qualifier here at Milan. Chris Hunt is on the near lane at the wheel of the 93 Chevrolet Lumina. Hunt ran a 674 211-mile-per-hour pass in qualifying to grab the #1 spot. He'll go up against Gary Grahner, who qualified 9th for this race at 694 197 miles per hour in the Persico Brothers Chevrolet Camaro from Orchard Park, New York. Grahner, however, has more power than he showed in qualifying. He was the top qualifier at several races this year on the Sunoco Shootout Tour. Well, coming to the line, here comes Grahner and Hunt, the Persico 67 Chevrolet Camaro, as Chris Hunt, #1 qualifier, prepares to battle his way down the track here at Milan. The lights are down, and it looks like Grahner gets out, but there's fire underneath the machine. Hunt takes advantage, backpedals, and a huge explosion under the Persico Chevrolet Camaro. As Hunt just backpedals to a victory, hopefully Gary Grahner is okay. The windshield looked to blow right out of the car. It may have been caused by a nitrous oxide explosion at this point. Well, hopefully he's fine inside that machine. What an explosion. The safety crew's down on the top end checking him out. Let's go down to the top end and have a word with Aaron Green.
Gary, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, Aaron. Fine.
That had to be a pretty wild ride from where you were sitting.
Yeah, it shook real bad, then I shut it off, and all of a sudden, kaboom. And I ducked, and the windshield's flying, so it was on fire down here for a while, so it's okay. Needs a little intake work, and it'll be fine.
A lot of serious damage down here, that's for sure.
Yeah, the hood scoop, I think, is in a million pieces, so we can fix it. We'll be back.
Well, the close-up of Grahner's machine shows the massive explosion and the pieces of manifold that went through the windshield. Basically, he Chernobyled this machine.
Not very often you can win a pro modified race with a 9-second run, Chris, but you just did it.
Yeah, I heard a good pop from him, and I went into some pretty hard tire shaking, ended up having to shut down myself, but I'll take them any way I can get them.
I guess Grahner's okay. He's out of the car talking with the safety crew.
Yeah, it scared me a little bit. You know, we don't want to see anybody do anything like that, but we're just glad he's all right and nobody got hurt.
More round 2 racing action is coming up. Norm Estes on the near lane does his burnout with his #3 qualified ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette, which ran a 676 at 201 miles per hour in qualifying. His opponent, Billy Harper, with a Plymouth, ran a 679 at 205 miles per hour and qualified 6th for this event. And he's ready to go as the Barracuda pulls his teeth out. Both these cars are very evenly matched up based on their performance numbers from earlier in the weekend. This should be an outstanding race in round 2 between the Chevrolet and the Mopar. Shannon Jenkins, the crew chief for the Norm Estes team, prepares to activate the onboard computer on the ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette as he gets ready to battle the Red Line Racing Barracuda in the far lane. The crews have done their work and made the final preparations. Now it's up to the drivers as they roll into the staging beam. Well, Estes gets ready to go. Billy Harper in the beautiful Plymouth Barracuda rolling into the hot rubber he laid down on the burnout. Estes, one of the heaviest hitters in that ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette, ready to go off the line as he pulls into the beams. Hang on, Dodge and Plymouth fans. Hang on, Chevy fans. Another factory battle matchup. Harper's in, and it looks like Estes on the green. Both cars leaving almost identically to the 8th mile charge. Look at Estes, though, for the Chevy fans here in Milan. Ripping one out as Estes takes it and blows him off. Norm with a 675, 200 mile per hour pass. In replay, we can see what was a close race up to about the 400-foot mark when problems set in for Billy Harper on the far side. The Kentucky driver shuts the Barracuda off.
All the hard work by you and your crew paid off in a big way, Norman. 675.
Yeah, that's what they said. It's unbelievable. I didn't think anybody'd run 70 today with the track like it was, and nobody changed my mind there that round. Shannon and Billy Thomas, who's a guest crew man, he's worked with us before, he's here. He really did a fast job of getting that head off, changing that piston. We didn't get a chance to do all the between round maintenance. They did a great job, and I'm glad it run good.
Well, if one word describes your season so far, it's got to be consistency, because you have consistently come out and run strong, even after major repairs like that.
Well, that's the key to drag racing. You don't have to be the fastest guy there. We haven't been the #1 qualifier this year, not any races. But running consistent on Sunday is the key to winning drag races, and we've been able to do that.
We'll see you in the semis.
We'll be there.
Now back to the starting line with more of this weekend's highlights from Milan International Dragway. Well, coming to the line now, Bob Riggle in the original Hurst Hemi Underglass. One of the first legendary wheel standers that pounded tracks all over the country. As Riggle pulls into the lights to show the fans just how wheel standing is done. I talked to Bob Riggle down at the pit area, and he told me that this car was basically blueprinted between the factory people from Dodge on a napkin in a coffee shop somewhere in Ohio. Well, I'll tell you, if this is what comes off of napkins, check it out. This one's lifting the whole 1,320 feet as Riggle goes the complete quarter mile in the 13-second zone on the back wheels of the Hurst Hemi Underglass.
Things are really heating up here at Milan, Michigan. The thermometer in Jeff Enslin's trailer reads over 95 degrees. And Jeff, you've got a tough run coming up in the semifinals as Norman Estes ran a 6.75 in round 2, and he'll probably put you in the left lane.
Yeah, I feel like get put in the left lane again. The lane really wasn't truly that bad, other than we shook the tires a little bit out in the middle of the racetrack. So we'll come back and check the clutch and see how it wore, and change it a little bit to compensate for what we're kind of condition that we're having here, and maybe things will change and the Eagle horsepower will put us in the next round.
Well, you've certainly enjoyed a lot of success here in recent weeks. You got runner-up at the Dunn-Benson race. You went to the second round at the Maple Grove event, and now you're in the semis here at Milan.
Yes, the last 2 races we have done good, and I owe a lot of that to Eagle Racing Engines, Chris Hunt, and Ram Clutches and everybody else. We have gotten a lot of help in the past 2 races that we really needed. And the race that we really got runner-up at Dunn-Benson was a luck deal. And we came back for qualifying at Maple Grove and made a bar change, and that changed the race car totally.
Jeff Ensslin will go up against Norman Estes, the points leader in the semifinal round.
Well, we're ready to go into the semifinals of our Pro Street category here in Milan. And no other than Steve Johnson burning out of the box first in that big-bodied Chevrolet Chevelle. The Simpson Motorsports-sponsored Chevy Chevelle running through the mufflers. And check it out, fans. You can even see the license plates on the back of Johnson's machine as he backs into the hot rubber. He'll take on Indianapolis, Indiana, Pete Walsh, better known as Speedy Pete Walsh. As he rolls his 70 Nova into the water box, purging the nitrous oxide, Walsh looks to be the first man to move into the lights. What a war this is going to be. Walsh is first man into the beams. Now Steve Johnson purging his nitrous, getting ready to bring that parachute pack Chevelle down the quarter mile here, probably somewhere in the 8-second zone this time. It looks like Walsh is fully staged. Johnson moves in, the lights come down and wheels come up on both machines. And now Johnson hits the second stage of nitrous oxide and just walks away from that 70 Nova. Down on the top end, Johnson with the victory. Looks like he may go to the finals this afternoon. Well, you can watch in slow motion here as Johnson rolls in and collects the whole shot. Getting a better bulb, but I don't think it mattered on this day. Look at the horsepower that Chevelle puts out. Walking away at the 8th mile mark, leaving Speedy Pete in the dust. Well, we know this guy. The next car to the starting line. Rick Dyer in the Cars Inc. sponsored 55 Chevrolet. And he'll take on Bill Sharpness. Sharpness with a tremendous burnout out of the water box area. You know why he's got to get the tires nice and hot? Because he'd love to collect the whole shot on Dyer, because he knows he's got to beat him to the finish line. Well, we'll see if that happens here. Dyer with that high 7-second 55 Chevrolet, rolling back into the hot rubber. Now Sharpness on a secondary launch. No nitrous oxide in this machine. Strict horsepower coming out from under the hood. Doesn't rely on the blue bottle to get him down the quarter mile like Rick Dyer does right now. As the 55 purging the nitrous, revving the motor, moving into the beam. Sharpness backing up one more time, possibly to find a better groove on the starting line. Now he moves in as Bill Sharpness makes it happen right here. One of the Outlaw Super Stockers getting ready to go. One of Bill Houghton's men, Outlaw Super Stock Organization racer, as he rolls into the beams. Now they're ready to go. Dyer into the top bulb. Sharpness takes his time looking for the pre-staging beam. He's pre-staged, and Dyer revs the motors up. First man in. Now he's off with a whole shot going to Sharpness at this point. Dyer with a lot of black smoke. Let's see if he can collect the window down to the 8th mile charge. Rick Dyer walks away with it. Bill Sharpness did a dynamite job in the low 9-second zone on that pass, but watch on the slow-mo. Both cars almost leaving identically, and the black smoke coming out of the 55 Chevrolet, meaning there may be nitrous oxide problems on that machine, giving Sharpness the advantage at this point, walking away by a half a car length. But as we watch the top-end charge, Rick Dyer in the Cars Inc. 55 finds the problem, clears it out, and takes the victory. Well, now that Rick Dyer got clearance for his landing, he brings his machine in, parks it, and we'll have a word with him. And Bill Sharpness not doing a bad job this weekend. Now let's see Rick Dyer with Aaron Green.
An 890 at 164, Rick, a bit off your run from last night.
Shook the tires a little bit on that one there, but I'd like to thank Pro Motorsports for putting this event on, Sunoco Race Fuel, Eagle Racing, and most of all, I'd like to thank my wife and Cars Motorsports for believing me that we could do this. And thank all of our fans for coming out. I love it.
Tommy Hunt fuels up the Hunt's Auto Restoration Chevrolet for his son, Chris Hunt, as they get ready for the semifinal round of competition in the Sunoco Race Fuel Shootout.
Back in the pit area, Chris Hunt is working feverishly to prepare his machine for the semifinal round. And Chris, the track has been tricky today, and apparently you're looking for some answers in the clutch.
It's really been tricky. That last one, we kind of overestimated the track. The track got a little greasy on us. I believe we pretty much overclutched it. Maybe we can overcome it this next round.
Well, you were involved with that rather bizarre race against Gary Grahner, who had the manifold explosion, and you shut off to a 903. Was that an intentional shut-off, or could you have run much quicker?
Well, I had tire shake. I could have went a little quicker, but I'd already heard his pop and saw his red light, so I went ahead and held off of it just to try to save everything for the next round.
Well, we'll let you get back to work. We can see you're very busy.
Appreciate it.
Points leader Norm Estes and his crew chief Shannon Jenkins get prepared for their semifinal round they encountered against Jeff Ensslin, making some final adjustments on their ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette. We'll be back with the semifinal round. We're back with the semifinal round of the Sunoco Racing Fuel Shootout here at Milan International Dragway. Ed Hoover in the Sunoco Race Fuel Chevrolet Camaro on the near lane, getting ready to run against Chris Hunt, the #1 qualifier for the event here in Milan. On the far lane in his beautiful Chevrolet Z34 Lumina, Pat Norsha of Ram Racing Clutch is helping to prepare Ed Hoover's Sunoco Chevrolet on the near lane. Hoover had lane choice for this run and chose the near lane, as he ran quicker than Chris Hunt in round 2. Well, the #1 qualifier, Chris Hunt, getting ready to take on the Sunoco Chevrolet Camaro of Hoover, and they leave the lines. A slight hole shot advantage goes to Hoover. He maintains it all the way down to the end of the quarter mile, and Hoover puts away the #1 qualifier. Check out the numbers: 690, 197 miles per hour.
Chris, it looked like a close race till about half track, and something went away for you.
Yeah, the motor laid over a little bit, and it seemed like it was nipping at the piston, so I went ahead and shut it down. No round's worth a motor.
Still a pretty good showing, though, finishing in the semis.
Oh, yeah, we're tickled to death. No complaints. Dad and them's put us in the best equipment out there, and my wife still stands behind me, so you can't beat that.
Back on the starting line, the points leader Norm Estes gets ready to go in the near lane with his ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette. Estes and his crew have been working very hard today to keep this Corvette running. They've had a lot of mechanical problems, but they're ready now. They've made it to the semifinals, and let's see what they can do against the kid, the 22-year-old Floridian. It looks like Jeff Ensslin ready to bang his head off. He'll face up against Ensslin. This kid has been hot all weekend here in Milan, Michigan. As Ensslin pulls up into the far lane, Ensslin trees him on the line. Let's see if he can hang on to it. Ensslin gets out of the groove, and it looks like Estes tries to make a charge on the top end and does! Takes the victory away. A 683 takes the win.
You've got lane choice in the final with a 683.
Well, we're going to need it. I think we heard another motor. Hadn't been our day on motors so far. I don't know if we'll be able to fix this one again or if we'll have to plug another one in, but we got another one.
Even so, you've picked up quite a few points here today and reached yet another final round.
Right. We're going to pick up points on everybody by going to the final. So it's been a good day no matter what, but right now I'd like to piece something together and win this round.
Here's Lenny Baticki.
Thanks a lot, Aaron. Down here with me is Tom Miller from Sunoco. And of course, Sunoco, not just the name on the marquee of the Sunoco Performance Shootouts. Sunoco is also the brand of fuel used by the top stars at our series. And Tom, tell us a little bit about the commitment Sunoco has to this racing series and the products that you sell and service.
Thanks, Lenny. It's good to be here, obviously, and appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Sunoco's been involved in the race fuels industry for 20-some-odd years. We're one of the largest in the world, and Sunoco's commitment to racing in general is all venues. At this event, we're running basically pro mods, and the strength in the pro mods are very large door slammers, high cubic inch engines that run anywhere from 200 to 215 miles an hour in a quarter and substantially under 7 seconds. They run a very special fuel that we blend specifically for them. The octane scale goes up to about 120, and this product, Supreme NOS, is off the scale.
Well, we're all tickled to have Sunoco participating in this series, and it just shows that Sunoco's backing not just for the cars on the racetrack, but helping the cars get to 55 miles an hour that much safer and better.
We thank you, Lenny.
Well, now it's time to go into the final round of Pro Street competition. And two of the strongest cars making it to the final round here this afternoon at Milan International Dragway. No other than Steve Johnson and the Simpson Motorsports big body, big block Chevrolet Nitrous assisted Chevelle, taking on that legendary 55 Chevrolet of Rick Dyer and the Cars Inc. sponsored machine. Both cars been running capably in the 850s, 830s all afternoon. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be a good one, fans, as they roll into the beams. Johnson revving the motor, purging the nitrous oxide, pulls into the pre-staging beam, fully stages the car. Now it's Rick Dyer's turn as Dyer rolls the 55 Chevrolet up, getting ready to bang the Lenko in his machine. Let's see if he can hang on as the whole shot getting ready to be prepared and took it off. Let's see who collects the whole shot on this one. Both cars roll in, the RPMs come up, and look at it. Looks like it's going to be Dyer with the whole shot, but Johnson making a hard charge to the 8th mile mark. Down on the top and a lot of smoke coming out of Dyer's machine, and Dyer barely beats him out on the top end. A slower ET, watch it in slow motion. Dyer with just a barely of a second whole shot advantage, not even a second, a fraction. Down to the 8th mile, it looked like Johnson had it all wrapped up. Then the 55 Chevrolet coming out of nowhere to beat Johnson to the top end. Fans, 850 for the 55, 849 for Steve Johnson. The whole shot and the victory inches on the finish line. Let's go down to the top end and have a word with Aaron Green and Rick Dyer as he brings the 55 to a halt. What a dynamite race this has been all weekend in the Pro Street category.
Doggy, what happened down there?
Rick, Steve Johnson ran 849, you ran 850, but your whole shot took the win.
Yeah! You dog. Oh, my man. I'd like to thank Pro Motorsports for doing this. I mean, this is what it's all about, running guys like this and some of these other guys from Chicago. I'd like to thank Eagle Racing for putting a bullet in here that does the job, and I'd like to thank my wife, and most of all, I'd like to thank Cars Motorsports for having the faith in our team that we can do something. And I thank everybody, and God love everybody.
Norm Estes faces up against Ed Hoover here in the final. A battle of the strong-running Chevrolets. Both Ed Hoover and Norm Estes found damage in their machines in the semis. Now getting ready for the final round. It's going to be a job and a half to get there.
Back in the pit area, Ed Hoover getting ready for the final round. And Ed, you found some damage on your engine.
Yeah, we nipped the number 7 piston. We usually run that cylinder blocked off. And when I ran Mark Carter, I had to put a little nitrous in it. And I should have took it back out because I mean, this motor's a year old, and every time I put nitrous in the number 7 hole, it hurts it. But we can fix it. It's not bad. I could run it like this, but I don't want to fix it at home, so we'll fix it here.
Well, we understand that Estes hurt his engine as well, so he'll have to make repairs too.
We can do this in 45 minutes to an hour, so we'll be in good shape.
Estes has lane choice. Will that make a big difference? This track has been tricky.
We went down both lanes. I'm pretty confident right now.
Yeah. Don't see it, Benny. There, now, buddy.
Ed Hoover's crew continues their repairs. Meanwhile, I'm with Norman Estes. And Norman, you said your motor was damaged after that semifinal round win, and you were right.
Yeah, well, there's a giveaway sign when it flutters right at the finish line, and then the car fills up with smoke. We're in a situation today where the air's no good. There's not enough oxygen in the air. The motor thinks we're running at almost 3,000 feet of altitude when we're actually only at about 300 because of the humidity and the heat. We're not used to running in this kind of heat yet this year, and I think a lot of the engine's damage is coming because of that air and because of our inability to get the ratio, the fuel-air ratio right. And you've seen a lot of heads off today.
Well, your crew has done an excellent job. After they did that last major repair, you ran a 675.
Best time of the day. Knowing Mr. Hoover, we're going to need to run that well again, too, because he'll step on it. He does this for a living. He takes it serious. He'll step on it. We'll show up, though.
I'm sure it'll be an excellent final round.
I'm looking forward to it.
All the work in the pit area has been completed, and both cars come to the starting line getting ready for their burnouts. Ed Hoover with the Sunoco Race Fuel Chevrolet Camaro, number 8 in the point standings, coming into this event, has had an excellent day. He'll be in the far lane, the lane that Norm Estes put him in. Estes had lane choice and took the near lane in his ZR1 Chevrolet Corvette. Tuscaloosa, Alabama's Norm Estes in the ZR1 Corvette up against Ed Hoover from Gilbert, South Carolina in his '94 Chevrolet Camaro. Well, it looks like Hoover rolls into the hot rubber, ready to go. Both drivers leading side by side. Hoover versus Estes. Look at a bumper to bumper. And Hoover has some major problems, letting Estes have the easy win on the top end. 677, 200 miles per hour. Estes, the big winner here today in Milan. Watch the replays. You can see how close the race is to about half track when Hoover shut off, eventually coming up with a 755 at only 130 miles per hour.
Norman, you've earned this win today, a 677 in the final.
It's been a rough one. It's been a long one. We have hurt 2 motors. We've been through it. It did okay that round. Shannon Jenkins was 40 years old yesterday, and I'm sure he feels it this evening, our crew chief, because he's worked real hard. Tommy Mooney built both cars. Gene Fulton built the engines for both cars. I obviously like to thank them. I'd like to thank Sunoco for supporting this thing in Pro Motorsports, and like to tell my fiance and kids hello, and thank y'all for being here.
Ed, Estes had a strong run waiting on you, and it looked like you had trouble.
Yeah, we made a judgment. We put more fuel in the motor, and actually it was just one cylinder giving us trouble, and we put a little fuel in it, and the car was really dead when I let the clutch out. It didn't want to go anywhere. I guess the air probably really hadn't improved, and it's just, we're learning. I'm real happy just to be in the finals. It beats going home Saturday night with a burn-up motor, and things are really turned around in 1 week, and Sunoco's helped me out and worked with me. Sent Aaron Knoll down here to help me out, and that's really made a big difference. I'd like to thank him, and Pat Norsha, and my wife, and Kent, and all my help.
Well, the Ram clutches point standings after Milan, Michigan today. Norm Estes with 4,450 points. Chris Hunt in the second spot with 3,354. Mark Carter finds himself in third with 3,246. Gary Grahner, 2,688. Ed Hoover in the fifth spot. And in the sixth spot, Tom Mooney, 2,290 points. Jeff Ensslin in seventh spot. And eighth spot is backed up by Louis Burris, and so on. And for Norm Estes, he collects the big check this afternoon here at Milan, Michigan, and the trophy, the Pro Mod champion. I'll tell you, what a race it's been here all weekend. Now it's time to go home and get them ready for the next one. Today's race brought to you by Genuine Chevrolet, Sunoco Race Fuels, when split seconds count, Pro Motorsports, the new name and officially licensed Pro Drag Apparel. I'm Al Tucci, and from Milan, Michigan, thanks for coming. Remember, you don't have to drive fast to enjoy fast driving.